that you've done Edinburgh for 3 years?
So I did Brighton Fringe 2 years ago, just for like a few days.
Like a dummy
Uh,
run, or
yeah, it was a bit of a dummy run of another show me and a friend were doing. I took my speed dating show there. Also, my mum lives in Brighton, so there'll be, free accommodation at least. So
right with my uni town, 4 years down there.
nice, nice. So yeah, we did that. It was all right actually. I was doing a split hour with another comedian from Barcelona called Luke Messina,
Okay.
called Fake Jews, which was just like our material about being Jewish but not religiously so, and kind of how that as well as just some other stuff in a tiny little pub room. I think we did 4 or 5 shows. It did all right. Um, the dating show, not so much. It was just a bad time of day, bad venue, bad weather. So yeah, but it was good to kind of to do that before trying the Edinburgh Fringe for the first time. And then we have the Barcelona Fringe now, which started last year. Um, so yeah, I did a few shows at that. I'll be doing a few more this year as well. That one's in early November for like about 10, 11 days.
Okay. Do you find doing fringe? Oh, sorry, I'll introduce you in a second. Doing fringes, it sort of be like universal material, or do you have to adapt it per like location? Like, would the fringe you did in Barcelona do equivalently well in Edinburgh?
Well, the show I did,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I mean, I can only sort of speak for the show I'm doing now, really, because a lot of the material I develop when I perform it is mostly in Barcelona or other parts of Europe, and it is an interesting audience because over there it's a lot of people that speak English, but it's not necessarily their native language. It's not like, oh, we do comedy shows for all British people that come that live there. We have people from Northern Europe, Central Europe, Eastern Europe, Latin countries, America, uh, just all over the world, like you name it, right? And their degree of understanding of English can be varied, but it's generally good. But also everyone's cultural references, and they're
Yeah.
not. Some will be tourists, some will live there, so you can do all your living in Barcelona material, right? Everyone relates to that because there's a big kind of expat community. Um, so it was interesting because that's where I came up. That's where I started doing comedy, and I was always terrified of performing back in the UK because in Barcelona, I'm somewhat exotic. I'm a foreigner. I'm English. I can play on that. But I come back and do it in London. I'm just like I'm the most London-looking dude you can imagine.
Mm.
From there. So, but I actually found that I enjoyed it a lot because I like in my writing to do some maybe more subtle wordplay and things like that, which would go over better in a native English speaking audience than it would in Barcelona as such.
Okay.
Um,
I 100 agree that I did one in Costa Brava. I remember speaking about, and with the issue I found, and I mean, I sucked because I sucked, but it
right.
was a lot of my colloquial dialect, a lot of my slang didn't transfer over, and I was just doing
Yeah.
it subconsciously. And
Yeah.
then a lot of things I was saying they couldn't interpret.
Yeah. We see that a lot. We get comedians visit over from the UK and the US, and we see them do their first show at the Clubhouse on a Friday night. And because they're good comedians, they do fine, but they come off being like, oh, that didn't work at all. And but like the good ones, the next night they'll adapt it and they figured it out, right? But you do get some people that come over, just on a trip and they just do their London set, and it's like this isn't working here, man. It's like you've got to, and I'm grateful for that because it has helped me to understand how to adapt to different people. And I still have my Englishness in me.
Mm.
So like, yeah, the show I'm doing right now, it's a work in progress hour called a People Pleaser that I've been doing here. I came here with like, I don't know, half a show maybe. And I've changed it a fair amount, being here, just the structure of it and some of the material. Um, I'm actually kind of worried that because one of my favorite bits is the new bit I wrote while doing it, which is a reference to Stop the Boats in a kind of ironic way. I don't think anyone's going to get that in Barcelona. So I've just spent
No.
like 3 weeks crafting this great bit of this show, which I'm probably going to have to remove and put something else in when I do it at Barcelona Fringe in November. So we'll see. I don't know.
As yeah, how transferable could that be? Is there a relative like is like the pretense is the premise of it something we could transfer? But let me bloody introduce you first, okay?
Right.
Hello,
Yeah.
welcome to another episode of Sit Down for Stand Up. See, that's why I don't like pressing record because I
Yeah.
like the flow to start straight away. Hello, welcome to another episode of Sit Down for Stand Up. I have me, James Regal. brilliant comedian from London who abandoned us to move to Barcelona, who now runs his own night and club. One of the I may say bashful, one of the best nights in Barcelona I saw looking on Google. So I'll give you that ego there. Currently in the Edinburgh Fringe and is smashing it. So I feel very privileged to speak to you today. Hello, James, comma, how are you doing?
Hello, Daniel. I'm doing very well, thank you. Yeah, that was maybe way too much praise than I deserve, but I appreciate it all the same.
We'll ask questions to bring you back down to earth. Don't worry.
Thank you. Good,
So
good.
I will try and humble you. But one thing I do love is that right now you are in Edinburgh at the thick of it, and best of all, you don't inflate anything. But I will say your show is going very bloody well, and one of the rare few who can actually walk away from Edinburgh smiling.
Yeah, it's going it's going a lot better than I expected. Well, look, one of the shows I brought, it's a format show. It's all about dating. It's audience interaction, right? So people from the audience have a date on stage, and then after the date, myself, another comedian, and a sex and relationships therapist interview them about their love lives. That's the show, and that's just the third year doing that. And I kind of expected that would go well because it's gone well the last 2 years. What I was worried about this year was they put me in a lovely venue, but it's in an area called Newtown, which is out of the real main hustle and bustle. And not only is it, I was in Newtown last year, but it's even further into Newtown. And the first night we did the show, basically no one turned up. And I was just like, oh my God, this is way further out than I thought. This is going to be a disaster. But the next night we had a bunch more people. And I've even had, like on the weekends, over 100, had 120 people in the room. It's supposed to hold 110 on Saturday. So word is spreading. So that's gone well. But the thing that surprised me is the solo hour I brought, this work in progress. I've got a little 30-seater room. I expected 4 or 5 people to show max, maybe a few more on the weekend. And I've had a bunch that just have sold out, and the show itself is actually starting to really take shape. That's what I'm mostly happy with. And yeah, and I'm glad to say that I've made the money back and might walk away with a little bit of extra money as well, which is always a nice thing to say about the Fringe. So
To be in the green alone is heavily commendable. We won't go too far down that rabbit hole because but
yeah.
HMRC. What is so with Fringe so far? Just going in general, what's the worst thing you've seen so far happen at the Fringe,
The
and
worst
what's
thing
been
that
most memorable to date?
Well, the other day I got punched in the arm by a homeless man for no reason, just walking down the street, busy street on the bridge going from Waverley up into Old Town, and there was a guy just muttering to himself, and then out of nowhere just decided of all the people to punch me. So that was a nice bringing back down to earth, you know. So, that was great. I mean, my opening show of the solo was a complete and utter disaster. I hated every second of it. I think the 5 people that were in there hated every second of it. And I really was just like, why am I here? But thank God, it was good to set such a low bar right on the first day. Anything else felt much better than that. And it's going much better. But yeah, there's been so much. I mean, yeah, we can maybe talk about it. I did an amazing roast battle last night. It was really fun. But I think I'd be really lucky this year. I mean, there's still a week to go, touch wood, but I've avoided getting sick. Nothing really terrible's happened. My venues have all been great. You get a bit of survivor's guilt when this happens because you're supposed to be like, oh, Fringe is so hard, I'm going to lose my money. Like, it makes you feel like more of an artist. But I honestly can't complain. It's just been my favorite Fringe of the 3 I've done, and I'm very happy with it so far.
I mean, would you say Fringe is a marathon? Like I haven't done a Fringe, and I'm scared to do a Fringe because of my really shitty willpower.
Mm.
I would go out and get drunk. I would ruin it for myself almost. For my
Yeah.
like devil intrinsics. Like, do you have to stay sharp the whole time?
I mean, I can't speak for everyone. I know some monsters here that do 8 shows a day. They get pissed at night time. They get up, they do it again. And I honestly, I don't have I'm too old. I'm 42. I don't have the constitution for that anymore. Right. So from my perspective, like last year, I didn't drink at all. I was working remotely during the day, so I had to be up in the mornings, and I was doing my show until midnight. I only had one show, but it was taking a lot out of me. This year, I've hardly drunk at all, except for I've given myself every Monday off this year, which was a really good idea. So I had a couple of drinks last night, but I've not been like doing anything to excess, trying to eat healthy. But you're right, it's a marathon. Also, it's just like this weird time warp where even yesterday, I think back to it, feels like 3 days happened in one, let alone, I don't even know what day we're on. What is it? The 18th? I got here on the 28th, 29th.
Mm.
Feel like I've been here for years. So it really is. You're just locked in, and I'm bad like this. I very rarely leave the bubble of the Fringe. People say you should go out for the day, or go somewhere else in Scotland to decompress. But I just stay right here in this 3 kilometer Truman Show kind of circle.
Great
And
reference.
yeah, it's honestly the other night, me and my girlfriend went, a girl that I've worked with here on my show invited us to birthday drinks somewhere. I think it's called Stockton, which is still, it's like a little nice suburb still in the city. But we hadn't crossed that far out
Mm.
of that circle, and it felt weird. It was like, oh, there's like a whole other place down here that,
Leaving the Shire.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll reference back as well. Okay, so you've done it sort of. Has it been 3 consecutive years you've done it?
That's right, yeah. And the year before that, I came out for about 10 days because some friends of mine were putting on a showcase for Barcelona comics. So I thought I'd come and check it out, try and
Right.
do spots.
Okay, and
It's
what
my
would you
first time.
basically? If you plan on doing it next year, and what lessons have you now learned from this time, moving on to the next one?
What lessons have I learned? I mean, I do plan on doing it next year.
Mm.
I think the only lesson I've really learned, to be honest, I mean, is not so much an admin one. I think I've got that down. It's more about just believing in myself a little bit more.
Mm.
I think this year was harder leading up to it because I didn't have the safety net of a full-time job where I was like, oh well, at least if I lose a bit of money on the Fringe, I still have a salary at the end of the month, Like
Mm.
this year, it's it was like this has to work, or I'm, can I swear on this podcast?
The only thing you can't. Okay, this is such weird terms of service. The only thing you can't do is do any reader roll jokes.
Right, okay, yeah, I get you.
You can't do live ammunition. You can have a gun in the background, but you can't shoot it.
Damn.
It's so weird, but they are the TOSs. So
Yeah, because I did come strapped for this
yeah, I know,
podcast
obviously, yeah,
originally.
heavily
Yeah,
known for the Fringe, isn't it?
from the mean streets of North London, mate. You've got to stay strapped at all times, even on podcasts.
I remember during public, so I'd whisper that one a little bit.
Yeah.
People are looking at you funny now.
Yeah, no, I think it was more just, yeah, just believe in myself a little bit, and the fact that I know how to do this, and I can be funny, and I've got myself on a bunch of other spots and other shows that involve a lot of like improvising and things that I've never really done that much before, that have gone a lot better than I thought were going to go. So I
Okay.
think coming next year, there'll be a whole other different type of worry next year. Next year, I want to fully debut my show instead of it being work in progress. So then it's like, okay, I need reviewers now. There's stakes to this. Like this, I'm putting myself out there as, hey, I'm here. And that'll be stressful on a very different level.
Okay.
Whereas this year, I'm kind of doing it I've not been inviting reviewers to my work in progress. I'm doing it in the shadows to try and get good. So
Would you say doing the Fringe has made you a better comedian overall?
100%.
Every time, yeah.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Without that, you're thrown into such weird situations doing like, whether it's your own stuff or just like a compilation show at 11:45 p.m. with 8 sort of piss people in while there's music bleeding through from a disco that's happening outside. It sounds way more fun than what you're trying to do. Rooms in cupboards. It's just you're having to constantly understand how to react comedically in that circumstance. And I always have this mantra that another comedian told me a few years ago. It's just play the room that you have, not the room you want.
Yeah, I like
Right?
that.
So it's like you have to do that all the time here. You don't know who's going to walk in the door, even if your own show, if it's a free show. I don't. My show is not designed for people in their 50s and 60s, but I always get them in because it's midday. I have a whole story about going to a sex club that gets quite graphic. And I'm always very aware that there's people in there just like, I did not realize this show was about this because there's no clue that, well, it does say in the blurb a little bit, but yeah, they don't read that. So
What's it been like with hecklers up at the Fringe?
I haven't had any bad heckles so
No.
far. The compilation shows you get a little bit, but nothing too bad. There are also shows where literally they encourage the audience to heckle you, of course, which is fun. I've had a couple
You're
of
good at
people like
roast battles,
try.
though, aren't you? So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I've had a couple of good like a guy on my show yesterday, bless him. He was a lovely audience member. He was really engaged, but he was just one of those guys that anytime you say anything, he just like, oh, you know, oh no, like he was watching it like along with it. But it
like a
was
hype
sweet.
man, like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
no, he didn't.
exactly. And it was a little distracting, but it was I appreciated it. So yeah, I mean, so far, the worst one I had was 2 years ago. I was doing the show called Fake Jews with my friend Luke, which is all about us being Jewish, but not really because it's just our backgrounds and not our religion and all this.
Yeah.
And it was a really fun poster of us looking like Fox News broadcasters. It was called Fake Jews, like fake news.
Yep.
And there was only about 6 people in the room, right? And then it's a split hour, so I'm up first. And about 10 minutes into my set, these two older ladies walk in late. And I'm just doing my stand up. And then I notice after about a minute or so, they're kind of looking at each other kind of quizzically. And then they go to leave. And I said, oh, you guys okay? You here for a different show? And then they said, oh, we're here for Fake Jews. And I said, yeah, this is Fake Jews. And she said, yeah, you can't be Jewish. You're not funny.
Yeah.
Which it actually was
You don't own Hollywood.
right. It was objectively hilarious, right? I thought that was so I kind of riffed on that a little bit. And then I asked their names, and then some weird thing happened where it turned out that these two ladies knew two of the only other audience members from back home in America. They were both Jewish. It was the most Jewish thing that had ever happened. Oh my God, you know Susan? I know Susan from Pennsylvania. So they just start having this loud reunion in the middle of my set. And to the point where I said, look, guys, this is lovely, but if you're going to talk, you have to go out or you can stay. So so these two ladies not only walked themselves, they walked two other people from my show. I fixed it. And then I finished my 30 minutes. I go upstairs to the bar just to get myself a water. And I can hear them loudly in the whole bar in front of the staff and everyone going, oh, that show was terrible. That guy wasn't funny. They were there for 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So I should have left it, but stupidly, I went up to them after the show and I just said, listen, you can have your own opinion, but just if you're going to watch other shows, it's generally not nice to talk loudly in the middle of them. And then they just said I was uptight, that I should take a joke. And after that, I was so down. Like you're on this emotional knife edge here all the time, no matter if it's going well or not, like anything can flip it. And I was like really depressed for 2 days after that because they really got to me.
If I went to the Fringe, I think the first thing in my suitcase would be serotonin.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I
not a
mean,
bad
that's like
idea.
number one. Yeah, get them
Not a bad idea.
antidepressants in because it is an emotional roller coaster. And
Yeah.
but it's amazing that it's going so well. So, how long have you been doing comedy in general?
So it's coming up to it must be almost exactly 6 years. I did my first ever set in Barcelona at an open mic in August 2019, which is perfect timing, obviously, for what happened 6 months later. But uh, yeah, that was my first gig.
And then, how did the first gig go?
I always describe it as it went not shit enough for me to want to do it again, if
Yep.
that makes sense. So I'd written this observational bit about this chocolate brand in Barcelona that was overtly racist, and just did some commentary on that. I've always been a big comedy fan, and I'm that little bit older and stuff, so I kind of understood how joke structures worked. But it was really just to do it and to try.
Yeah,
And I
bucket
just
list
remember,
almost.
yeah, yeah, and I went I went to watch the open mic the week before, and I saw a guy get up and kill. It was his first time. He's a very charismatic guy. He just couldn't have said anything. And I told him I was thinking about it. He said, just do it. He said, just dive in. So I came back next week, did it. And I just remember coming off stage and just feeling like, wow, like that felt amazing. Just to do that, I have to do it again. And
What sort of
yeah,
things have you learned in the process from your first time to now? How what are notable lessons you've taught yourself?
um, one lesson I learned really early on was whatever you do, you've got to do it with confidence. And
Mm,
even if that's like, you're playing it low status, you still got to be confident in the low status. If you're going to be high status, be confident in that. Because a guy told me that after I bombed really hard the first time I did a gig in London. It was all comedians. It was actually more of an alternative comedy night, but it was, I just saw there was a gig and I wanted to do it stupidly. I invited my mum along to see. and I did that same material and it just died. And everyone else was like doing bits where they were like just as a dog and or like
Oh yeah, I've done an alt night before. You just feel,
yeah.
hmm,
It was a great gig. I loved it. I love that kind of comedy to watch. But it's really nice. I forget his name now. I actually met him again the other day. But he came up to me and just said, "Listen, man, just so you know, just whatever you do, you have to be confident." And that was really early on, and that always stuck with me.
okay.
Um, I don't know what else have I learned. I don't know. Just I still feel 6 years in, I'm not nearly the finished product. Like I'm still trying to figure out my persona. I think I'm starting to understand what the audience expects from me.
I don't think anyone ever is. I mean, the best advice I've ever heard was from Christopher Norton Walker. Fantastic one liner. And it was simply get good.
Yeah,
Like, I can give you advice,
yeah,
but just get good. Like, you
yeah,
only get that by bombing, by putting yourself out there, by trying and failing. How do you get strong at the gym? Go to the gym, get better at it.
yeah,
But that's the most like tangible, raw. Like, if you're
yeah.
shit, get better.
I heard a great one recently on a podcast. It might be, can I mention rival podcasts?
Yeah, of course you
It's
can.
quite a big one in fairness. It's comedian podcast, right?
Yep,
I think it
standard.
was
Yep.
one of the comics on there said writing is the diet and on stage is the gym. So like you can go on stage and you can work out, but if you haven't got a good diet, eventually it's going to fail you.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm someone who struggles to really make time to sit down and write. I always write when I'm walking, I'm in the shower, I'll write my thoughts down, develop a bit and try and do it on stage. But
What is your
that's
writing process? You do a sort of like
yeah.
word for word on a text document, or do you just write, like the premise, punchline, and then like wing it in between?
I don't like winging it. So if I have a if I so the premise is I can't if I say I'm going to sit down for an hour and write comedy, forget about it. My brain will shut off. So
Yep.
normally it's just like I have a funny thought at any point in the day where I'm usually doing something else. I'll write it immediately on my phone. If more thoughts start to spill, I'll then start writing it out like as I would say it. At that point, I might then try it at like a little open mic just to see if the audience catches the premise. I don't really care if the punchlines don't work, and I'm comfortable enough on stage now where if they don't, I
Laugh it
can
off.
vogue a little bit. Yeah, it's fine. But if they catch it, I'm like, okay, and then yeah, I will start to develop it, and I will write it out as I would say it, and I try and memorize it almost as a script.
Oh, yep.
Um, I'm I'm getting better at being able to just riff and do things. That's a skill you kind of have to learn,
Okay.
and sometimes it's good to put yourself in those situations, I think. But when it comes to my actual show, yeah, I like it to be word perfect,
Okay.
ideally.
Do you believe you can joke about anything in life?
Yes, 100%. But don't be shocked if people don't like it.
Hmm.
Like you made the decision, that's fine. Doesn't mean the people listening have to enjoy it. And don't start being a baby about it. Particularly if you're deliberately trying to write comedy, like it's supposed to be shocking. So why is it weird if then people say that they don't like it?
Very true.
What would be the point? Like so,
Very true.
yeah, I definitely think you do, but this is the thing though. I think you should also, with a little bit of a caveat, understand where you're at in your comedy journey. I see people come through open mics all the time. They want to be the edgy boy, so they do badly written,
Hmm.
edgy jokes. And I'm thinking of a couple. I'm not going to name them, but a couple of people that I know quite well that have done this. And I always say like it's like learning to juggle, but you're starting with live chainsaws. Like someone's going to get hurt, most likely yourself, right? Start with softer balls and build up to sharp objects. You
No,
know?
I 100% agree with that. I think the most important thing is to make sure that it is funny. That's the
Yeah,
first thing because you've gone on stage. No one said to you, you've got to choose these subjects. You've chose them. So make sure one, it's funny, and also make sure it's not just the same old regurgitated stuff everyone else has done. Do a
yeah,
new angle. Like I love so much, and I'm gonna ask you to do it in a second. I love fat jokes, and
okay,
I love it when people insult me, but as long as it's good. If you're
yeah,
just like you're fat, it's like okay, cool, brilliant.
right, right,
But if it's like a proper creative fat joke, it's like that's brilliant. Like
yeah,
I enjoy them, but
yeah,
be funny, be creative. So with sort of roast battles, because I've seen you're
yeah,
quite very good at them. do you have like a formula in your head, like like Alien vs Predator? You lock on, you're like, right, hair, weight, no, okay, job, occupation, no, lock on.
Right.
What's your formula?
It's interesting. So I find a lot of the time, first of all, the best person to roast is someone you know really well already, because you're going to have good chemistry on the stage. But once, the way it's quite international now, I often find myself battling people that either we are acquainted, but we're not friends, or even people I've never met before in my life. So you always exchange facts to begin with. I try and give as much dirt to them on me. They try and give me as much dirt about them. And sometimes you get lucky where the person you're roasting is just visually, like Jack Trainer last night. He is short, pudgy, Scottish, ginger hair, glasses. He looks like a character. So you don't even need to know anything about him just to get his vibe. Whereas I feel like I'm the opposite. If someone has to roast me, I feel like I'm quite sort of average looking.
Yeah,
So you
I
have
was
to like
trying to
know
think of
my
some now.
stuff. Yeah.
I was literally trying to think of some now, and if I was to roast you, I was trying to think of one, and the only one I can think of, I don't know if I'm getting his name right. You look like Jason Biggs from Wish.
Okay.
That was the
Yeah.
only one I could think of.
Yeah. And that's a classic archetype, so and so off,
Yeah, but that's because you told me you were
spit version
Jewish.
of.
So I
Yeah,
tried
yeah.
to go down the Jew. What about me? Go on, I'm like, go for me, gun me, hurt my
But
feelings.
so this is the thing. I don't riff these off the top of my head, man. I'd have to take it away and think about it honestly. Like I mean, I can tell you a fat joke I wrote recently that won't be necessarily about you, but
Please.
I'm talking about niche. There's a lot of these niche dating apps now. For over 40s, for Jews, for Muslims. There's one for plus size people, and that's got a feature where if you swipe someone left, you have to really push it. Uh,
Brilliant.
yeah.
Oh God,
Um,
I'd hate that. What's that website called so I avoid it? Oh,
it does exist. So
oh,
again, just like my stand-up with my roasting, I take a good long time to really look at their facts, try and find what things might link together, and I'll just go where I feel I go to. And I've done it enough now where I know like how to avoid the more like hacky premises that get used a lot, or there's certain jokes that I don't know what was. So the guy I was roasting yesterday, he's been called Special Ed Sheeran about 1,000 times,
yeah.
and because there's this whole roast battle league that exists where I'm actually one of the competitors in that, and there's a whole fan base, and they've watched every battle, they know every hack premise. So there's an added pressure. The people in the room don't give a shit. You can say anything. They've never probably seen me before or any battles before. But there's the online community and the league and the judging and all this. Like I'm very competitive. So I like
Would
to
you
try and be
say?
original.
Would you say it's the same in the comedy world? When you are a comedian, you watch so much comedy. You look at, there's only so when everyone does like the basic bit subjects, the dating apps, the ex girlfriend, all that. You
Yeah.
look and you're like, okay, well, this is hack material.
If the material's hacked, I don't think premises can be hacked because you can always find a new angle,
Hmm.
right? But yeah, there's certain things, anyone here on dating apps, it's just like, oh God.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I've never done that. I probably still do it. I have a whole bit in my show about dating apps, but I like to think that it's got a different perspective on it
Yes.
that's very individual to me. The amount of comedians I've seen come up and say things like, I'm in my late 20s, I'm 32. It's just like, I just sometimes feel like, surely you've watched some comedy
Hmm.
and seen that before. But I don't know. That sounds very judgmental. I think when you're starting out, and by that I mean the first 5 years, like it's okay. What you're trying to do in that period is be comfortable on stage and understand how jokes work and how
Right.
audiences respond. So if what you're saying isn't entirely original, like who really gives a shit?
I mean,
As
the one I detest right now, and I'm talking about comedy. I hate it when someone goes on stage and the first thing they do is list their disabilities.
okay,
So I feel like it's a cop out.
right,
Like when they're
interesting.
like, oh, I'm ADHD, autistic, this. I feel like they're using it as a setup to basically say, if I'm not funny, you can't be mean because of these disabilities.
I was going for the sympathy vote.
Yeah. And I
Interesting.
don't know why, but I was because like every comedian has something wrong with them. We do
Yeah.
comedy. Like
Yeah, I mean, I prefer the other way around. I like trying to say something that makes you as unlikable as possible and seeing if you can get out of it, you know? Like it's not very
Is you
popular
start
to
off
say,
like as low as possible and try and
yeah, I don't know if you notice it's not that popular to say you're a Jew these days. So it's like immediately I feel a silence or a tension in the room, but then I don't do anything political about it and I'm not even religiously Jewish. And I kind of that's one of my bits that I go into like that. I put myself in that place where I have to win them back from whatever prejudice they might have about that, you know. That's more fun.
did do that a couple of times with myself, like misdirection, but shock value at me. So the one that never works for me, but I keep saying it, is I don't like the left. They made it so you can't laugh at fat people anymore. Makes this job a lot harder.
Right, yeah,
Like
nice. Love that.
standing up instantly, like most of them, like yeah, I lose them on it. It might be. I mean, I don't deliver it like that, but yeah, I think I do it too early in the set to
Yeah.
maybe. But if you do it from the offset, man, that's commendable.
Yeah, it depends on the show, whatever. But I guess the thing is, if you're fat, they can see you're fat. So like,
yeah,
you don't necessarily have to say you're fat. But I mean, do you know? Must know Ollie Horn.
yes.
So like, he's
So
quite a large gentleman. But he plays it where like I know, what his line is, like I might butcher it, but he's like, I know you can tell from looking at me, I'm tall. Because he's a tall fat guy, right? And then he starts saying, yeah, I'm really fit. Like, I'm sorry, you guys are all ugly. I'm the hot one, you know. So he kind of flips it over, which is a fun way of going at it.
okay, yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, no, I mean mine's a bit harder though because whilst I am fat, I used to be 155 kilos. I'm now 113.
Congratulations.
Like yeah, so I feel like I don't want to lose the fat material. So
Well, yeah, that's the thing when you make a big drastic body change. Like,
yeah.
how do you feel about that? I guess you can talk about your journey and losing weight and how you used to be fat and bring it in that way. But I'm going to interview you now, but do you feel less funny the skinnier you get?
No, not at all. I mean, I do mention it. Like I do a bit, like oh, if you're fat, you need a fatter mate. My mate Tim, true story actually. He is a fireman. He can no longer get up the ladder, so he's now a bungalow specialist.
Right,
I
okay.
love that joke, and I say, you know what? Yeah, I have lost the weight because I always say, look, my comedy might not get a round of applause, but this will. I've lost X amount of kilos. Applause. It was hard work, dedication, and Monjano. Laugh. And I was like, I used to take cocaine. Could you imagine cocaine and Monjano together? God, it would look like dot 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 whatever, like coming out, and then so I do mention it, but I think no matter what, I'll always still look like a big guy. So it's not.
Right. Yeah.
I can sort of rest on them laurels. To be
Yeah.
honest, interesting one. Then I will frame it back to you. Then you've been doing comedy for 6 years. What is
Yeah.
a joke that you've done on stage where at the beginning you thought was a killer, but you look back now and you think, why the fuck did I think that was funny?
Oh God. Uh, I don't know. I have to think about that one.
Locked up somewhere deep and dark in the thought box.
Yeah, I definitely have one, man. It might just be fringe brain, but there's definitely things that I used to do and stop doing now. I don't know if I can answer that off the top of my head. I'm sorry. If it
Yeah.
comes to me later, I'll let you know. But
Okay. Oh, I'll tell you quite an interesting one I've got then. Because I've never ever interviewed someone whose girlfriend is also a comedian.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
So what's that like?
It's great to be honest. I mean, it's quite a new relationship. We only met in May. I have had flings with other comics before, but generally, especially in a small scene like Barcelona, it's kind of it's potentially troublesome if both of you aren't mature about it.
Yeah.
But I've never had a proper relationship with, and I think you can look at it two ways, right? Some people say it's a terrible idea. You shouldn't date a colleague. If it goes bad, it could be worse. I mean, we are long distance, so that's less of an issue at the moment. But also, it's someone who's got a great sense of humor, is obviously smart. Um, that they, I'm talking about, she is, what was the word I was going to say? I know we have a lot of fun together. And we understand each other's work, right? So you
That
know, we
must be
don't,
nice. So like, is she
yeah.
sort of and like vice versa? If you think of something, is she your first bounce off?
I think now she is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I've been doing it a little bit longer than her, but she's also got, she's played a lot bigger venues than I have. So, I think I don't feel like there's any disparity there. Um, but it's also, she's come into the Fringe so we can see each other, knowing that we're not going to see each other in person for another few months. But she's doesn't make me feel bad about the fact that I'm busy, I'm in my thing, and we make time for girlfriend and boyfriend stuff when we can. But also it's great
Where
because
if she
she
wasn't a
also
comedian, that might be a different
it'd be
story.
really hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Like as nice as that person is, eventually it's like, oh, we're gonna watch another bloody show. Like, am I gonna have to, she sits and she takes notes on my solo hour and then but she knows not to just throw them at me immediately, say like when you're ready, let me
Yeah.
know and I'll tell you.
Well, I
So
think
I
as a
think there's a lot
comedian,
of advantages to it.
I think as a comedian, you do genuinely know how the show went because it's one of them jobs where you do sort of get instant feedback. You get live feedback throughout
Yeah.
the show, so you do genuinely know how it has gone. And if it,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that is sort of fantastic. And have you collaborated on any material?
Um, is that way saying we should write together? Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that's now in my solo, we've sat down and talked about and come up with a couple of things. Um, Now when I write my roasts, I'll start them out and then I'll send them to her and we'll workshop it. Or even I'll be like, oh, I can't. There's this premise or this attribute of this person I can't quite come up with, and she'll send some ideas my way, and so yeah, and it's kind of a two-way street. So it's pretty good. It's like having an in-house writing partner.
Okay, James, let me ask you now then. What is the Comedy Clubhouse?
The Comedy Clubhouse. Well, thank you for asking. So this is our full-time comedy venue in Barcelona that opened a few years ago. Started out during the pandemic as a kind of a pop-up in a basement in an old Irish bar. Actually, where I did my first set, I was talking about earlier before it was Comedy Clubhouse. As it opened, Barcelona had opened up more than other cities, so we were able to do shows, but only between 2 and 5 p.m. and only to maximum 8 people that all had to have masks on.
Peak comedy settings right there, isn't it?
Yeah,
2 to 5 p.m. Barcelona with 8 people.
but you know what, man? People were so desperate to get out and perform and watch things. It was actually quite a beautiful time where it was just the community. And we
Imagine.
had a lot of pros that weren't able to perform in their own countries were coming over just because it was the only place they could do it. So anyway, it spawned out of that. We then got our proper venue a few years ago. It's got one main room downstairs, a bar upstairs that we can do shows in as well, and it's thriving. There's a great community. We have shows every night, sometimes, well, often multiple shows a night. We just opened a new venue that has a little kitchen so we can do food, a bigger venue downstairs. It's a great place. It's not just a great comedy club. It's very community led. Like people love coming there because they know they can come there on their own and they'll meet people. It's a great place. I'm very proud to be part of the ownership there, which is a recent thing. I'm a minority stakeholder, but I'm part of it, and I help with the running of it too. And yeah, very very proud of that place.
How do you decide the lineup time?
How do we decide lineups at the clubhouse?
What's like the formula of bringing an act on?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Sorry.
So like I presume like a lot of people want to perform there. What's
Right.
like how do you like siphon out who you want on, who you want off? Are different nights designed for like different types of comedians?
Right. Okay. I follow now. Yeah, we've got anything from free open mics through to uh paid weekends lineup shows. People coming to do their hour from whether it's local people or people from abroad. I mean, Michelle Wolf lives in Barcelona. That was obviously a huge part of it. She's a stakeholder in the club now. She does regular stuff there. We have an amazing booker called Hannah Becker. So she books most of the lineups for our house shows, but then we have outside producers. That's how I kind of came. I bought my two shows to do at the clubhouse and eventually became part of the team. So I run Roast Battle Barcelona and I run Lolly Amorous, my dating show. So people like us, we pick who goes on. And I think at this point there must be over 250 to 300 people who actively do comedy at some level in Barcelona. So there's a nice pathway that you can't be doing an open mic, you get seen. People, we have a WhatsApp group between all the different showrunners to say, oh, I saw, Steve was brilliant on this open mic the other day. Maybe give him a 5 on the Friday night show in that slot. You can get a lot of stage time in a scene like this. It's kind of a thing in Europe. Sorry, someone's very, very loud next to me. Can't escape loud Spanish people, even in Edinburgh. Can you believe that? Yeah, you can. This was a great thing about coming up there. You can get a lot of stage time, and people come to watch open mics, like actual audience members, and that's a great experience for people just starting out for sure.
Okay. And how do you think like the comedy world in general has evolved in the last sort of since COVID?
What, like internationally?
Yeah, internationally, like, do you think it's sort of like changed for the better, for the worse? Are there more comedians on the set than what there used to be?
I mean, I was only doing it briefly before COVID, so it's hard to say. I mean, I think one thing's obvious is, when COVID happened, everyone was driven online, and the people that really made the most of that on creating great Instagram and TikTok channels are the ones they're really thriving now, and they can sell out theaters because. Funny enough, I had a conversation today with one of the guys who runs social media at Clubhouse. One of our biggest comedians doesn't want to post stand-up clips anymore because actually Instagram doesn't really push those. She's more famous for just doing Kyla Cobbler. She was big for just talking to the camera about her life. So that's definitely changed. And then I've also seen now even stuff that's going on TV or the big Channel 4's new thing they're doing with those guys. They're not performing in front of live audiences for TV. They're performing in front of a small room of people and each other because the viewer is psychologically places themselves more in that scenario rather than hearing 100 people laughing at it. So that's the whole online thing has changed the game massively in that respect. The other thing I'd say is just English comedy in Europe is booming, and it's the place to be. And if anyone listening to this, just get to any European city and do comedy, and it's great.
I've seen a lot of people from Brussels coming about, like,
Yeah.
and well, I'm doing an interesting one. Start 1st of September. It's a project I've been working on for about a while now, and it's going to be eventually in time. It's going to be a 24/7 comedy live stream.
Right. Nice.
So it'll be like Kill Tony, but 24/7. So
Right.
anyone could jump on, try 2 minutes. There's judges there to talk and sort of heckle it, but I've configured it so anyone can join this channel, and then they can be part of the audience.
Okay.
So
And
it takes.
it's online.
So it'll be online, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
There's a dummy run tonight at 7 o'clock.
all
Oh,
right.
look at me! I'm plugging my own show on my own show. Fucking hell. God, that's Matrix inside the Matrix, to be honest. So, James, I love asking this one. Nearer to the end, what's been it's a two-parter. Do not really care about the first bit, but I ask it to be polite. What's been your personal favourite moment on the stage or in the comedy world? And what time have we personally bombed the hardest?
I'll start with the bomb.
Okay. That's my
So
favourite bit.
yeah, I alluded to, well, apart from my very first show here at the Fringe, which was a disaster, but I alluded to it earlier. So I was only a few months into doing comedy at most. I was in London. I was looking for open mics. I found this Pegasus comedy in Kentish Town. And then because I was only in London, I was there for work. So it was a couple of days. So I thought, oh, I'll try and fit in seeing my mum and my mate who lives near there at the same time. So I stupidly invited them along. And like I said, everyone else there was an alt act. I get up, I do my 5 minutes of just like shitty, semi-political, observational material about stuff in Spain that they have no reference of, to absolute silence. And just my bless her, my supportive mother in the back row just trying her best to force laughs out. And it was I hated every single second of it, and it still makes me shudder. Yeah, that was pretty awful. I actually like bombing now. Bombing is quite fun. Once in a
When
while
you
to have a
become
really
numb
bad
to it.
one. Yeah, but it's good to be humble, and it's sometimes you just have to bomb. Like it's fine.
For the best of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Your favourite moment? Like the moment you sort of take a step back and you've been like, this is why I do this.
So I've had a lot of really big highlights just from a pure stand-up perspective, but actually the roast battle stuff has given me some really amazing experiences. I did one roast battle years ago just for fun. Realized I really enjoyed the joke writing element of it, and now obviously run the show in Barcelona, part of this league. And I was invited to come and do a battle at the Comedy Mothership in Austin.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
in
That's the one. That's the goal.
yeah,
Yeah.
in March this year. You know, it's like in the main room, sold out, 300 people. Tony Hinchcliffe was on the judging panel, Joe DeRosa, like a bunch of other great comics. And I had no business being on that stage as a stand-up, right? But this was an opportunity. We were the headline battle. The show had gone on for 2.5 hours because there were 9 judges and they were all shit-faced.
Yeah.
And me and my partner in the battle, Paige Wesley, we absolutely smashed it out of the park. And it was just a surreal moment, man. Like we weren't even allowed into the room to see the room before the show. That's the first time I saw the main room of the mothership was walking onto stage from behind the curtain in front of 300 people. And I couldn't even see most of them because it was so dark in the audience. And just doing my thing. And it was just, I couldn't believe I was there doing it. So, and I still watch the video back now and I can't believe that was me. That's a massive highlight for sure.
That's, that is. I mean, I've got Kill Tony on pause right now on the other laptop. I'm literally
Right.
looking at the black curtains you walk through
Yeah.
right now.
Do you ever try and sign up when they're in London?
Uh, no, to be honest. Um, Probably partly because I'm like quite new and I've just had so many other projects on at the moment. So
Right.
yeah, but it's something I would look to do down the line. Okay, I'll end it with this one, James. If you had to give advice to a new comedian who's never done it before, they're nervous about getting on stage, but they want to try it. What advice would you give them? And you can't say just do it.
Okay. Well, I think I'll echo what that person told me is just, well, two things. Be confident, although that's easy to say to someone who's new. Be confident and just try and have as much fun as possible. You have the opportunity to stand on a stage in front of people with a microphone and do whatever you want for whether it's 3, 5 minutes.
Mm.
And that's a real privilege that you've given yourself. So trying to have fun. And I always say this to people, oh, I don't know what if it goes bad. And I say, it's going to be bad. If you're going to be shit, like this, it just depends on how shit you are, because that's how I felt. Like if you go out there first time and you smash it, then either you've got loads of friends in the audience or you're a freak. So
I've never thought of the metaphor before, but it's just come into my head. It's like sex. It's going to be bad the first time,
yeah,
About even when you think it went well. In hindsight, it's not. But just keep on doing it.
yeah. Although at least there's not, or hopefully not a load of people in the room in that scenario. You never know.
Don't abuse my first time, James. Mate, it's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you ever so much for coming on. I know you're smashing the Fringe, and yeah, I'm going to be up there next year. It'd be fantastic to hook up and yeah, have a jam.
Nice one. I really appreciate it, mate. Thanks a lot.
You too. Have a good one, dude. Thank you. Cheers,
Cheers.
guys.